Hello, everybody. My name is Ali Orooji. I'm the faculty advisor for the UCF Programming Team. I work with the coaches to prepare our students for various contests. The coaches have prepared these slides to help you how this contest works and how to go about the local contest. Most of the slides are very straightforward. I don't really need to take time to explain. Please read those slides, at your own pace and your own time. And if you have questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. The local contest, we do it in 3 stages. The first 2 are online, and the third one is in person. Because the third one is in person, we have to request classroom and labs from university. And once they give us the classroom and lab, we can announce the exact date. So please check the team website in August, early August, mid-August, and you will see the exact date for the contest. We have to do the contest early fall semester because the regional contest is in fall semester. So we need to know the team members and prepare for regional contests. The first stage is what we call the practice contest. Again, this is online. We put some old problems so everybody can work on it. And we try to do the practice one over several days. So if you have class one day, you can just try it a different day. The objective is everybody to solve a couple of problems and submit to get comfortable with the submission system. So when we get to the actual contest, you don't waste time figuring out the submission system. The qualifying round and final round, since the final round is in person and we are in a lab, that lab has a capacity, let's say 80 student. So in case more than 80 students register, we need this qualifying round. Qualifying round is online as well. So if we have several students, we use qualifying round to decide who goes to the final round. Final round is in person. It is an all-day event. We first let everybody play with the equipment on campus so they get comfortable with the computers. Then we have a lunch break, and then we have the actual contest, and then we have our ceremony and announce the results. So final round is an entire day, so please plan accordingly. In early August, we open up the registration and you need to register to participate. Even though we have 3 stages, you register only 1 time. You do not register 3 times. And before the practice contest, we will send you an email saying this is your login name and this is your password. The UCF programming team, the UCF students, they have done extremely well in the programming competition. The most widely known contest is International Collegiate Programming Contest. This is an international event. It is like 49, 50 years old now. Originally, it was just a few universities in US, but now it is a truly international event. There are more than 100 countries participating. Our students have done extremely well, and they have actually finished in top 3 in Southeast, which is our region. They have finished top 3 every single year, and no other university has done that. And the reason we do so well, the main reason is we have talented students and they are devoted and committed to work hard. So they excel and we do well. But we are also fortunate to have a great group of coaches. Some of the coaches are faculty at UCF, and some of the coaches are former team members who work in Orlando area, and they are giving back to the team. So we appreciate all their time and all their effort. And of course, this is all volunteer work, so it is really very nice of them to devote to the team. The practice round and qualifying round is online, so you won't see the coaches in person. But in final round, you will get to meet them. These are our coaches. We have Kyle, Glenn, Arup, and Chris. Again, during final round, you will meet with them. The way the contest works, you get a bunch of problems, let's say 10 problems, and you can work on them in any order you want. For our local contest, to help the newcomers, the coaches actually list the problems in order of difficulties, but in typical contests, they don't really list the problems in order of difficulty. So you have to actually read to figure out which one you can do, which one you should do first. But the main point is you can work on problems in any order. And the contests, different contests, there are different lengths, anywhere from 2 hours to 5-6 hours. Our qualifying round will be 3.5 hours, and our final round will be 5 hours. But the main thing is you get a bunch of problems, and you have fixed amount of time, and the person that solves the most wins. So if one person solves 8 problems and everybody else solves 7 or fewer problems, the person with 8 problems wins. But there is a chance that several people will finish the same number of problems. So there is a penalty system to break the ties. So what you do is you write solutions to problems. And of course, you want to test it to make sure it is correct. And when you read the problem specifications, if something is not clear, it is ambiguous, you can ask questions. Let's say a problem says input is an integer, but it doesn't say negative or positive or both. You can ask questions, and you will have one file for each problem. So let's say you write solutions to 4 problems, then you will have 4 files, one file per problem. And for your solutions, do not put any prompt. Type the next input, type the next input. Do not put any prompt in your solutions. And input is from keyboard, and output is to screen. This particular contest is a test of problem-solving skills. It's algorithm, and so the focus is not really the fancy output or anything. It's just simple text output. The practice round and qualifying round, it is online, so you are home or wherever you are, so you have access to everything. So you are welcome to use things that are available online, use your books, your notes, or if you have some program, you can use anything you want. The final round, you are all in a lab, so you won't really have access to search the internet. We will provide some reference manual. You can bring your books and notes, but you can't really search the internet. But practice and qualifying, you do whatever you like. The contest has a specific languages. Currently, they provide Java, C, C++, and Python. So those are your options. Of course, you do not have to use the same language for our problems. Most students use the same language, but you are not limited. So you may do one problem in C, one problem in Java. It is your choice. But you are limited to languages. And you can ask questions from contest officials, but this is really an individual contest, so you don't ask for help from your friends. And again, the practice and qualifying, it is online, so you use whatever you like, but the final round, you're in person and you are limited. Now, if you have questions about problems, you will see the submission system in a few minutes. You ask questions about problems using the submission system. But technical questions, let's say you have difficulty logging in or you have difficulty with your password, here is how you can contact the coaches if you have technical questions. The way the contest works, the scoring, number of problems is the first criteria. The person that solves the most wins. It doesn't really matter how many penalty points they have. But in case there are students with same number of problems, there is a penalty system for tiebreaker. The first point about penalty system, you are not penalized for a problem until you solve it. Of course, you do want to finish a problem because the first criteria is number of problems. But if you attempt a problem and you never finish it, you don't get any penalty point for that problem. And when you do finish a problem, you get 1 penalty points for each minute from beginning of the contest. Let's say you finish the first problems after 1 hour, so you get 60 penalty points for that problem. Let's say the next problem you finish 30 minutes after the first problem, but the second problem is really 1.5 hours from beginning of the contest, so you get 90 penalty points for the second problem. So you have 60 for one, 90 for another. You have 150 penalty points so far, but you've solved 2 problems. And also, when you do finish a problem, if you've attempted it several times, you get 20 penalty points for each one except the last one. So let's say you try a problem 5 times and you finally get it right. So you have 4 extra submissions. That is 4 times 20, 80 penalty points, beside the penalty points for the time taken to solve the problem. Now, for a practice round and qualifying round, you are at home, so you are using your own computers. But the final round, we are in the lab. We're going to provide the VS Code and a handout to help you how to use it. But we encourage you to try to use VS Code at home before you come to the final round, so you get comfortable. And the university usually updates their system during summer. So by contest time, early fall, we will know exactly what compilers they have, and we will share exact compilers. But again, there will be Java, C, C++, and Python. A few notes about languages for C, C++. Make sure you put return 0 at the end of your program. For Java, I mentioned before, this is a test of problem solving skill and algorithm contest. It's not really large system development, so you do not need packages for Java, so please do not use packages. And for Python, most likely will be Python 3. Again, there will be a bunch of problems, let's say 10 problems. And I mentioned to help newcomers for local contests, we put the problems in order of difficulty to help newcomers, but you do not have to work on them in the order we provide. You can work in any order you would like. And you do not have to finish a problem before you start another one. If you have an error in one problem and you just don't see it, you work on another one, and then later on it will click what you were missing, and you go back to the other problem. You do not have to finish one to go to another one. And the problem specification, it tells you exactly what you're supposed to do. It also provides some sample input, sample output to help you understand the problem. And also problem specification tells you how the output should look like. Let's say the problem specification says capitalize the word. So make sure you capitalize the word. You have to follow problem specification. Here is a sample problem from a few years ago. Each problem has a name. Like this one, it is called odd even. So if you write solution for odd even, let's say you write it in C, then you would have a file called oddeven.c. Let's say there is another problem called graph, and you write that one in Java, then you would have graph.java. So for each problem, you have a file. And each problem, you submit one file, not the multiple files for the same problem, one file. And to make it easier for the judges to judge, please use lowercase for your Java classes. And again, input is from keyboard and output is to screen. And I mentioned this is not really a test of fancy interface or anything, so no need for GUI and things like that. Just plain text output. You should, of course, test your program before you give it to the judges. And when you see the submission system in a minute, you see that we provide the sample input output. Some of the problems, sample input output may be too long. There is no reason for you to type them again. We just provide it to you. And make sure you test your program. Of course, you do not need to test for something that a spec excludes. You know, if, for example, problem spec says input is integer, you do not need to check for letters. But within problem specification, make sure you test all condition. And the judges and the coaches are very experienced, and they come up with comprehensive test data. And of course, when you give your solution to judges, they test it with their own test data, and they provide the test data at the end of the contest, not during the contest. So if you try the problem and you didn't get it right, you can see what case you miss. But again, the judge data follows problem specification, so they are not going to violate problem specification. And judges usually redirect output to just make it easier to go up and down in your output to look at things. This is the front page of our submission system, and the coaches have developed this system. It's an extremely user-friendly and very nice system. You will get to use it in the local contest. I mentioned before a practice round, you will get an email with your login name and password and the URL for the site. So you will go to that site and log in. And this page shows the typical things you can do in the system. The status tells you, like if you submit something, that link tells you you got it correct or didn't get it right. View problems, this is like electronic version of the problem, and you can read the problem specifications. For the final round, beside the electronic version, we will make a hard copy for you as well. But for practice and qualifying, since it is online, if you need a hard copy, you need to print it at home. Sample data, I mentioned we provide that so you don't have to type it again. You submit your solutions when you are ready to submit. If there are ambiguities with some problems, you ask questions. Score is the next slide I explain in a minute. And for the final round, we provide language reference because you're not supposed to search internet. This is the score sheet from the contest we run for high schools in Florida. It's very, very helpful information in the score sheet. It shows who has solved what problem, how many times they tried it before they got it right, and how long it took them. Now, the red squares or red blocks, it shows the person attempted the problem, but they haven't got it right. Correct. They haven't got it correct yet. The light green means they got it correct. Dark green means that person solved that problem before anybody else. So when you finish a problem and you want to see what problem to work on next, you can look at this score sheet and tells you which problem are solved by several people, so you know which one are easier. Now in the contest, during the last hour, we freeze the score. What that means is during the last hour, when you submit your solution, you get an answer like correct or incorrect. So you know you are done or you need to continue working on it. But that will not be reflected in a score sheet, so others would not know you solved it correctly, you finished it. This is just to have some excitement for the award ceremony. Now, when you submit, of course, your program must compile, it must execute, not crash. It should provide a correct output. You have to follow the output format. Again, like if the problem says capitalized words, you need to follow that. And also you need to provide all of the outputs. You know, let's say the output happens to be 2 lines and you just print the first line. Obviously, that's not complete. And when you submit, the judges is going to respond correct, meaning you got it. Compile time error doesn't really happen very often because you compile it at your own station before submitting. But sometimes the students submit without saving the file, so it is outdated file and there is compile time error. A runtime error is like division by 0, out of bound array reference. Time limit, the majority of the problems, a straightforward solution will work. You don't really need to come up with most efficient solution. But sometimes the student have infinite loop in their program, so we need to stop it and say, you took too long. And wrong answer, you know, if the output is supposed to be 25 and you print 10, obviously that is wrong. And incorrect output format, again, you need to follow what the problem says. Like if it says print a double space, if you print single space, then that is, you're not following output format. Now, contest strategy, the coaches will work for you. The coaches will work with you the entire year to teach you all different algorithms and all different strategies. So we have an entire academic year to teach you things and prepare you for contest. But this couple of slides is like a 5-minute quick bullets of the main points. This contest, each problem counts as one problem. It doesn't really matter if it is the easiest or the hardest. So obviously you want to do the easy one. And you want to keep things simple. That is the fastest way to solve a problem. And make sure you look at all the problems because there may be one that is better for you. And make sure you read the problem carefully. If you read it too fast, you may miss a point that makes the problem much harder than you think. So read the problem carefully and make sure you test your program before submitting it to the judges. Now, when you use debugger, be careful because people tend to lose track of time when they use debugger and before they know the contest is over. So be careful when you are using debugger. And it really pays off to take time to understand your solution and make sure it works before you actually code it. If you rush into coding, you're going to spend an hour or so typing your solution and you realize, oh man, this is totally wrong approach, and you wasted 1 hour. It really pays off to take a few extra minutes to make sure your solution works before you start typing. And it helps, I mean, sometimes it helps to take a 5-minute break. You just gather yourself and your brain works better. So you don't really have to use every single minute. And also sometimes when you stare at monitor, you just don't see your error. If you look at your code on paper, you see it easier. And make sure you work at your own pace. And that is the best way to finish a problem. Work at your own pace. Now, the coaches put plenty of problems to make sure everybody finds something to do. We do not expect anybody to finish our problems, so don't be overwhelmed. And also, there are some students who've been on the team before or participated in different contests, so they may do better. We do not select only one team member. We usually have like 30 team members, and we usually have a junior varsity team member. So you are not competing for one spot. You know, they're competing for one of many, like 25, 30 slots. And again, we do have a junior varsity. So don't worry, you know, if somebody has solved 5 problems and you've solved only 1 problem. Now, after the final round, we invite some students to be varsity team members. And with JV, since junior varsity, since they are new, the coaches don't know them. And also junior varsity may not know much about our practices and this contest. So usually we invite a few extra to the next round. We invite, let's say, 15 people to join us for the first couple of practices so that the coaches get to know them better and also they get to know what this contest is all about. And then there is a better chance of putting a good group of JV together. But we do have varsity and we do have junior varsity. Now, the next bullet is very important. Everybody is welcome to our practices. If you do not make it to the team and you would like to join us, wait until the final round is over and we put on the team website who is on the team. And if you didn't make it after the final round, please send us an email and we will add you to our email list. So when we send an email, we are meeting this day and this time and this location, you will get those emails and hopefully you can join us for some of the practices. And of course, the more you practice, the better you get. But the main point is everybody is welcome to our practices. Send us an email after the final round. And of course, the team members are expected to participate, attend the practices. That's how we do well. Of course, it is understandable if one person cannot come 1 week or so, but we expect them to come as many as they can. This is a typical practice schedule. At 11 o'clock, we have 2 parallel lectures. One is for varsity covering advanced material, and one lecture is for JV covering fundamentals. And then at 12 o'clock, we have a lunch break. Then at 1 o'clock, we do 2 parallel contests. Again, one for varsity with more difficult problems, and one for JV and our guests with more fundamental problems. And usually we wrap up at 6. All right. The coaches and I are looking forward to seeing you in the final round, and we hope that many of you come to the practice contest, qualifying round, and final round, and get on the team. And we look forward to going to regional contest, North America Championship, and World Final with you. Thank you.